This is the retail price formula setup screen under the setup menu. The purpose of the price formula is to automatically calculate a price based upon a cost that is presented. As you know, we are using B2B imports and CSV imports to create product catalogs. These product catalogs are used within our software. And as you import those products, there will be a cost that is attached to those. And if you can automatically calculate a price that you need to give to your customer, it's very valuable because if that cost changes, it can go up or down. As we know, prices are always changing. You can have the price that you're presenting to your customer automatically change also. So that's the purpose behind retail price formulas. So you are able to automatically calculate a price for a customer based upon a cost. You'll notice that there already are some retail price formulas here. This is the list view. If you click on one, the details are on the right side of the screen. This is where you can edit the products. The details are on the right side of the screen. This is where you can edit the detail information for each retail price formula. Let's go through each one of these fields so I can explain further what you're looking at. First of all, the ID, that is just an internal number that it's assigned to each retail price formula. You do not have access to edit the ID number. You can always edit and update retail price formulas. So the first field that you will look at or that you can edit is the name. This is obviously the name of the retail price formula. Next is the margin. That's how we calculate what the retail price would be for the customer. So the margin calculates the new price for the customer. And you have control over this through retail pricing. To better understand the formula we use, it is the cost divided by 1 minus the margin. The next field, add to cost, means whatever the cost is, add this amount before you calculate the margin, or use the margin to calculate the price. And then the next field, add to retail, this would be after you calculate what it is, then just add this amount of money onto that material. The next item we're going to look at is materials. The check box next to materials, this would be the material cost, which means we're going to use the material cost. The next checkbox is freight. If you want to include the freight that is also associated, you can click the freight and it will put the freight in there before it does the markup. Tax is another one that can be checked if you're on a use tax job. You want to include the tax because in this situation, you're not marking it up anywhere else. So you'll want to include the tax before you actually calculate the final price. Another way to look at it, freight and tax are extra options here. And then you can, by clicking and unclicking, you're activating or deactivating the formula so that it will show up on the screen or be hidden on the screen. Let's go back to type, this field right here. Type is a special thing. Each retail price formula can have a product assigned to it. And why this is significant is when QPro goes to try and calculate this formula, it's going to look down this list of formulas we have. When it looks down this list, it looks at the type field. And when the type of the product matches the type of the retail price formula, that is the formula it will stop on. And it will automatically use this one when you're trying to use this type somewhere. Most people are using this for calculating things on the sales order when they're creating a sales order for their customer. One thing to keep in mind is when there are multiple retail price formulas with this same product type, it will stop on the first one that it comes through in the list. So 1 is the first one that it checks. So in this case, it would pull number 2 automatically. Now you can always go in and instead of choosing carpet, you could choose the item number 3, even though the product types are the same, you can adjust and manually select the retail price formula. You can override what the system is automatically pulling in onto the sales order. There's also one exception to this. If it goes all the way through the whole list and it does not find a matching type, so on the sales order, a product has been selected with a product type that is not defined with a retail price formula, what it will do, it will choose the top one. So keep in mind that the first one is the default. So in doing this, we really suggest that you consider that you could have like 2 or 3 carpet formulas or a couple different vinyl type or paint formulas. And with this, where I talked about it will always start at the top with number 1 and go down the list, keep in mind, and what we suggest is that for each type, so in this case where there's 2 carpets showing, we think you should consider always use the highest margin for the first one of that type in the list. That way, that will always be the one that's automatically selected for that type. That retail price formula, the first one of that type will be the one that is automatically selected. That way, it will always be the highest price that will come out. And at the very least, we would ask that you do that for the number 1 slot. Because again, if it doesn't find a type, it's going to always choose default to number 1. So reserve the number 1 slot for the one that's the highest price. So for an example, we're just going to add, let's just do 1 here, tab through, and we're going to hit save. You'll notice that it updates and now our changes are there. It's very easy to add and edit retail price formulas. You cannot delete retail price formulas, but again, you can edit them. Every one of these fields are fields that you can edit and update and then save the changes. Some other ideas are that you could do retail price formulas like this is my 40%, 30%, 20%. You could also make retail price formulas by type of product. For example, you could label them carpet 1, carpet 2, carpet 3, or maybe it's carpet retail, carpet wholesale, carpet commercial, and then you could do the same thing for vinyl, vinyl 1, vinyl 2, and so forth. You can classify these things in different ways that work for you. It's all very flexible and custom to how you like to run your business.